Recently, you had this whole deal with your director, Michael Bay.
So they go on to say that Megan says that Transformers was an unsafe set. Come on, Megan. We know it is a bit more strenuous than the playground at the trailer park.
I never know. It could be written by Michael, from my short knowledge of him.
And your first instinct is to say that you think it was written by Michael?
My first instinct is to say that.
Because I think it originated on Michael Bay's website.
Right, okay. Well then...
I had just turned 15 and I was an extra in Bad Boys 2. I was wearing a Stars and Stripes bikini and a red cowboy hat and like 6-inch heels. At 15, I was in 10th grade. That's sort of a microcosm of how Bay's mind works.
Yeah.
Michael found this shy, inexperienced girl, plucked her out of total obscurity, thus giving her the biggest shot of any young actress's life.
I've seen her once or twice before she knows my face, but it's hard to see with all the people standing in the way. When you felt somebody, might have felt explosive when you had it when you got all alone for me. And I made it just when I squeezed it, made it touch some Mexican truth. Just come down, feel the freaking heat.
She was famous. She was the next Angelina Jolie.
Oh baby, baby, if you sleep, give me tonight.
He granted her the starring role in Transformers, a franchise that forever changed her life. She became one of the most Googled and ogled women on Earth.
Imagine being given the biggest shot of your career at 18 years old, the kind of opportunity people spend their entire lives chasing. Handed to you before you've even figured out who you are or what you want to be. One second you're a lonely teenager grounded in your room, and the next you're stepping onto a movie set that will without a doubt change the course of your entire life. Today's deep dive subject not only took that opportunity, she used it to transform herself into what many consider to be the first bona fide icon of the 21st century. Megan Fox may have it all, the career, the talent, but very rarely does she talk about what it took to get her there. If you look online, you'll see all the polished press articles flooding the search results, attempting to smooth over Megan's origin story to make it more palatable. Yes, she got her first acting role at 15 as a stripper in a Michael Bay movie, but very few people remember what happened in 2009 after the second Transformers movie. A sophisticated attempt to destroy Megan Fox's career would be spearheaded by the two most prolific directors in Hollywood. And Megan couldn't do a thing about it because they were the ones who gave her her career in the first place. So dive deep with me into every interview, secret letter, and nasty scandal as I piece together the broken story of Megan Fox's lost childhood, her rise in Hollywood, and the exact moment she pretty much had to kiss her career goodbye. And that's all just in part 1 of this 2-part series. But don't worry, part 2 just came out on my second channel, Secret Society. Part 2 is the entire comprehensive timeline of MGK and Megan Fox's toxic relationship. I'll link part 2 in the description for you all to watch after this one. And be sure to subscribe to Secret Society. I have a ton of videos coming out over there and you don't want to miss a thing. I've been getting a few messages from some of you saying you were unsubscribed or something, so be sure to check and make sure that button is still clicked. I'm so excited for y'all to see this video because I've been working on it for over 2 months, but without further ado, let's dive into it.
Do you ever wish you were not famous and can live an ordinary life? I'll be honest with you, no.
Growing up under a strict Pentecostal household in Oak Ridge, Tennessee was incredibly challenging for Megan Fox. Her father was a tough parole officer and divorced her mother when Megan was young. Her mother remarried her stepfather and they raised Megan and her sister together. Her new stepfather was verbally, mentally, and emotionally abusive to Megan and her sister. She was never allowed to have friends or boyfriends over ever. This isolated Megan and made her entire childhood an impossible pressure cooker, one that she couldn't leave. Despite her restrictive upbringing, Megan found a creative outlet when she began training in dance and drama at age 5, performing in community center classes and school choruses in Tennessee. At age 10, her entire family uprooted and moved to St. Petersburg, Florida, where Megan continued to pursue the entertainment industry. By 13 years old, Megan had even started modeling, taking home multiple awards at the 1999 American Modeling and Talent Convention in Hilton Head, South Carolina. This early success boosted a young teenage Megan Fox's confidence to get into the world of acting. While this was setting Megan up for future success in Hollywood, it also ostracized her from her peers at school. Megan later admitting she often ate lunch in the bathroom alone to avoid getting ketchup packets getting thrown at her. And y'all, if you know anything about me, I have a ginormous phobia of ketchup, so this is my actual nightmare. This caused Megan, very understandably, to go through a brief period of rebellion. She'd often sneak out to meet boys, breaking her family's strict no dating rule. She'd borrow her mother's car, and she was even arrested for shoplifting makeup from Walmart. The incident led to her being banned from the store and hauled into court, where a teenage Megan was given a creative option of punishments. She could either wrap holiday gifts for charity or wear a sign outside the Walmart store that said, quote, "I stole from Walmart," for 3 days. Megan noted the first wasn't really a punishment, so she obviously went with that.
First time I ever got in trouble, I was a good student, like straight A's. In 5th grade, I got caught passing notes talking about this boy named Troy Pruitt, who was my first French kiss.
Wow.
And he had hair like Zac Efron, I remember exactly. And I got caught, my mom got called into the principal's office, and I got in trouble, I got grounded, and then I escaped the house, I snuck out. And then I got grounded again, like for longer. And this just happened over and over again until I woke up and I was 17 years old and I hadn't left the house in 7 years.
I was a cheerleader for less than a year for like one basketball season when I was in high school. I think more so because it got me out of the house. I was always grounded, and engaging in an extracurricular activity was deemed okay by my parents, and so then I could actually leave my room to go do something, get some fresh air, be outside. And I think that's really probably the main reason I did it. But I was not good at it. It was terrible.
So you guys, everybody packs up, moves to California? Is that how it
She
happened?
moved me out here, yeah, and the deal was when I could pay for my rent, I could live alone. And I got my first job was actually with Lindsay Lohan in a movie called Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. One of the cinematic greats. It paid my rent for like a year, so she moved back to Florida and I began my journey on my own.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been sort of loudmouthed and obnoxious.
Really?
A little bit. I'm sort of known for my mouth, and I was always that way, and I was never really interested in, you've had a guest that has said this before, but I'm not really good with authority figures, and so I wasn't really good with school.
But around this time, Megan's life would change forever when she landed her first major role in a movie, guest spot in the classic 2001 Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie Holiday in the Sun. Megan portrayed the character of Brianna Wallace, a rival and somewhat mean girl bully to Ashley Olsen's character. Over the next few years, she snagged guest spots on Amanda Bynes' What I Like About You and 2.5 Men, usually being typecast as the token pretty girl. Sadly, much like the Olsen twins and Alicia Silverstone, Megan's major breakthrough would be through exploitation. In 2003, when director Michael Bay, known for portraying beautiful women in his films, first laid eyes on Megan Fox, he knew he wanted to put her in his new big-budget action film Bad Boys 2. Michael's first thought was to place Megan in a skimpy outfit at a bar, but when he learned that she was underage, his solution was hardly better. Michael Bay dressed a 15-year-old Megan Fox in a Stars and Stripes bikini with a red cowboy hat. The look was completed with 6-inch heels under a waterfall at a nightclub. Megan was only paid a reported $500 for this appearance, but the experience showed her what the big world of Hollywood was really like. Later describing how uncomfortable she felt on set, saying, quote, "We're shooting this club scene and they brought me in and I was wearing a Stars and Stripes bikini and a red cowboy hat and like 6-inch heels. And Michael Bay approved it. And they said, you know, Michael, she's 15, so you can't sit her at the bar and she can't have a drink in her hand. So the solution to that problem was to then have me dancing underneath a waterfall getting soaking wet. I was in 10th grade, so that's the kind of microcosm of how Bay's mind works.
I was a background. I was an extra in Bad Boys 2.
Okay.
Which is also a Michael Bay film. And I was just sort of in the background. I was 15 at the time, so I was underage, but I was in a Stars and Stripes bikini and a red cowboy hat dancing under a waterfall. That was my first job.
And you see, I knew this. We got the film. We went, We went frame. It's one of these fast cut movies. So we went frame by frame. So you're going to see this. You're going to see your acting debut right now for the very first time.
Megan, what is it like working with the director Michael Bay, who, from all accounts, appears to be insane?
Yeah, well, he's infamous for being a sort of tyrant, I guess, on set. But the first time I ever worked with him, actually, I had just turned 15 and I was an extra in Bad Boys 2.
Really?
And yeah, they were shooting this club scene and they brought me in and I was wearing a Stars and Stripes bikini and a red cowboy hat and like 6-inch heels. And they took me to Mike, and he approved it. And they said, you know, Michael, she's 15, so you can't sit her at the bar, and she can't have a drink in her hand. So his solution to that problem was to then have me dancing underneath a waterfall getting soaking wet. And that's
perfectly wholesome.
At 15, I was in 10th grade. So that's sort of a microcosm of how Bay's mind works.
Well, that's really a microcosm of how all our minds works. But some of us have the decency to repress those thoughts and pretend that they don't exist.
Right.
Anyway, Megan Fox's acting streak with the most iconic child stars would continue going strong when she landed her first significant movie role in the Disney Channel teen comedy Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, alongside Disney pop princess and acting extraordinaire Lindsay Lohan. Megan portrayed Carla Santino, the gorgeous, catty high school rival to Lindsay's character. Later that year, Megan was cast in ABC's sitcom Hope and Faith, her first role as a main character on a television series. Notably, she wasn't featured in season 1, but the character that Megan was playing was recast for season 2, and she ultimately won the part. For 48 episodes, Megan held her own alongside Faith Ford and Kelly Ripa. Megan met her first celebrity boyfriend on the set of the show as well, Brian Austin Green from 90210. He was guest starring on Hope and Faith, and even though they had no on-screen appearances together, sparks allegedly flew behind the scenes. Despite Megan only being 18, a 30-year-old Brian would begin dating her very shortly after his appearance on the show. While Megan was on Hope and Faith, she actually got Marilyn Monroe tatted on her arm in honor of her growing Hollywood status, and this would be the ultimate manifestation.
I got that after I completed the first Transformers. I got the Marilyn Monroe tattoo. And I don't know, I've always liked her, and like I said, been intrigued by her because she created a character that she lived behind. So she was always playing a character within a character in all of her movies, which I think is, the psychology behind that is very interesting.
Megan didn't know what the future held. Hope and Faith was ultimately canceled in 2006, but Megan had definitely been able to create a name for herself by that point, and she'd found who she believed to be the love of her life, Brian. In November of 2006, Megan found herself engaged to Brian at only 20 years old. She was immediately thrust into home life, helping raise Brian's son from a previous relationship, forcing Megan into a stepmother role at a very young age. Now keep in mind, up until this point, Megan has largely been typecasted as the mean girl bully trope, but all of that would change when Michael Bay, the director who'd chosen her for that scantily clad part all those years ago, cast Megan in her first blockbuster lead role for the film franchise Transformers. The live-action film based on the popular cartoon toy franchise was a huge project, and Michael Bay needed the perfect girl to play the high school sweetheart to Shia LaBeouf's hero character while still bringing the appeal from every angle.
Shia is one of the funniest people, just naturally. It's hard to get through scenes with him sometimes, though, because he's so good at improv, and he gets, like, funnier and funnier as he goes.
I just didn't recognize you. Yeah, well, I mean, that's understandable. You know, I just got back from fat camp. I lost, like, 80 pounds.
Oh,
So-
well, you know what? Good for you.
Yeah.
That's good for you.
Yeah, I learned a lot, and, you know,
Makes
I
you a
just...
stronger person.
Yeah, physically and mentally.
Yeah. Did you
And
make
so-
friends?
But yeah, I mean, some of them died because, you know, diabetes is really chronic there. But, I mean, like, there's 3 or 4 that I kept in contact with, and they're really good people, you know. Because fat people aren't bad people, and that's one of the main things they teach you there.
It's hard for me to try to not laugh because I get in trouble because we won't ever make it through a scene.
I just put that light in.
My job was to rip up little tiny pieces of paper and just throw them in front of the camera. And the camera was on Shia, and he was having to do all the hard work. And he was like screaming. He was in pain. He was in a harness. His balls hurt. His hand was falling off. He was losing his fingernails. And Ramon and I were just in there like, wee. So that was good fun for me.
He talked about how hot Michaela was going to be. We talked about finding literally the most gorgeous 18-year-old there is out there, which I think we did. I think we did.
Oh, God, if Trent could just see me right now.
Yeah. Wait, what? You just say if Trent could see
Trent,
me?
yeah, if Trent could see me right now. This is crazy.
We interviewed a lot of different young women for this, and Megan, I don't know, I just liked her look. I liked that no one really knew about her. I think Shia helped her out. I think that energy between them, I think it kind of works.
Hoping to get you stranded or anything like that.
That's fine.
So I was wondering if I could ride you home. I mean,
The only thing Mike asked me when I was reading with him and auditioning, he just asked me if I could run. He's like, can you run? I was like, well, yeah, I think so. And the other thing he asked me, he goes, do you have a nice stomach? And I said, well, in my opinion, yes, I do. So I figured I'm going to be running, hopefully not naked, but I'll be running in a belly shirt, maybe.
Megan did good with all the running and jumping and cars skidding and everything else going on, I think Megan really hung in there.
Just from filming, I've put on like almost 10 pounds of muscle.
Megan Fox, with only a few credits to her name at the time, would dive into the career-defining role of Michaela Bones, the mechanic's daughter with a knack for cars and a heart for Shia LaBeouf. Megan later describes the audition process as unconventional, to say the least. Michael would have Megan wash his Ferrari while he filmed her as a test of how she'd look on camera. This scene seems like something right out of Michael Bay's dream journal, but Megan just went along with it, determined to get the role. Michael later confirms the story, but when asked about where the tape was, he said he didn't know. Anyway, Megan would portray the physically demanding role of Michaela Bones with flying colors, often running from explosions, while the nearly priceless cameras ogle her body. Keep in mind, Megan was still in an off-screen relationship with her fiancé Brian Green from 90210, but Shia LaBeouf sort of muddied this timeline when he revealed in 2011 that he hooked up with Megan on the set of Transformers. When he was pressed on whether Megan was single or not, he said he didn't know, and that it was what it was. Anyway, Transformers premiered in July of 2007 and became a box office juggernaut, earning over $700 million worldwide. Virtually overnight, Megan Fox went from a TV actress with generally small supporting roles to the lead of Michael Bay's breakthrough motion picture of 2007. She was nominated for MTV's Breakthrough Performance Award and 3 Teen Choice Awards. The Los Angeles Times dubbing Megan as, quote, a symbol of the highest order, a woman whose hotness has become emblematic of a specific era, even dubbing her the first bona fide symbol of the 21st century. But with that fame came the subsequent backlash. Megan was only 21 and had limited acting experience, and a lot of people boiled her success down to her looks rather than her talents. Her tendency to speak her mind in interviews was very, very new for 2007. She wasn't bashful or demure. Megan Fox was bold and owned her sexuality, saying, quote, I know I'm seen as a sex object. I'm just really confident sexually, and I think that sort of oozes out of my pores. It's something I don't have to turn on. Women are definitely marketed in Hollywood as sex symbols, and I don't have an issue with that, as long as I know that I've created this outer shell, end quote. This was part of Megan's strategy. If she reclaimed her boldly in interviews, she would be able to retain control over some of the more subversive topics she was asked about.
Don't get them excited. They're already at a dangerous level already.
Where is Guillermo?
He's right over there. There he is.
You better come here for some snuggle time.
Oh my goodness. How are you?
You're my favorite.
Oh my goodness, Guillermo. Oh my God. Wow. I saw his chalupa there, Guillermo. Wow. Guillermo has asked each of those 747 days when you were coming back. And tonight it all happened. It's magical.
You're a sweet cherub of a man.
And I thought it'd be fun to draw the two of us together.
Am I touching your
You are now. No, here's my picture of us together. And I think this just captures our relationship beautifully.
Michael Bay makes you an icon.
Okay.
Are you aware?
I'm
Did you
not
know?
aware.
No, come on.
Are you silly? Do you ever just look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I really did it today?
No.
This is the day that I really topped myself.
I thought of icon. The shot on the motor. You are a icon. Don't
You are
mind?
so crazy. Go ahead.
No, really. But look at the cover.
Look at it.
Yeah. I look at them. And I've got one last thing.
What is it?
Please, can you
Okay.
give me a kiss? Please.
On the
in front of
mouth?
camera. No, on the cheek.
Okay, yeah, come on over.
Thank you.
Is it good lighting? Ready?
Yeah. Whoa.
I don't know if there's I don't know if there's a man alive who's not in love with you in some way.
You're so silly.
You know what am I really?
You're a silly
No,
man.
I'm not silly
You're a
at
silly
all.
man in a checkered shirt.
I am not.
Don't say the
What is before we go, what is your life like? Do you have a handle on your life right now?
Oh, sure.
Really?
Yeah, what do you mean?
You have to go into every situation when you have a conversation with a man you've never met that is going to end at some point with him flirting with you.
No, absolutely not. Johnny's never flirted with me once.
He's been flirting the whole time we've been sitting here.
Oh, is that what flirting is?
See, now I think you're flirting with me. I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
2008 would be the year Megan finally got to live out her dreams of being a superstar. She was officially a Hollywood fixture, appearing at every important event and red carpet.
You can't ever prepare yourself for fame. It's a very strange thing, and I can't explain it to people, and it's not something you can understand until you experience it. I don't think any of us knew how big Transformers was going to be. After that, the first one was released, and after that first press tour, there was this snowball where it went from 0 to 100, it felt like overnight. There was no time to sort of sit and process it. It was just all of a sudden I was famous. It's not like all of a sudden I become an actress. I was just all of a sudden a celebrity.
She would sign on for a second Transformers movie and begin production alongside Michael Bay and Shia LaBeouf. And towards the end of the year, Megan's fiance Brian would detail to the press that the couple was looking to get married the next year, but not in some big Hollywood ceremony. He wanted a small, intimate wedding with their family and friends.
So your fiance, Megan Fox, is on the cover of Maxim, and they call her Earth's hottest girl.
Oh, get out.
Yeah. Did you know that? Earth's hottest girl.
Earth's hottest.
That is a huge, huge. But so you've been engaged for how long?
We've been engaged for coming up on 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Now that she's been named Earth's hottest girl, do you think you'll marry her?
I gotta get on it.
You better get on it.
Yeah. I gotta get
Somebody's gonna be, like.
Earth's hottest.
That's a huge thing.
But little did Megan know, if 2007 and 8 were career-changing, 2009 had the potential to be career-ruining. For starters, in February, Brian Green and Megan called off their engagement.
Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Yeah.
I knew this was coming.
Really?
Let's get into this. Let's just do this.
No, I don't. I'm not trying to start anything.
Oh, okay.
It's just by way of general information.
Oh, okay.
It's not going in your record.
I'm not married. I'm 23.
23? Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Got time.
Yeah. Have you come close to being married?
I have, Dave. I have.
But for one reason or another, well,
Well, I just feel like,
it's so silly. 23, you're fine.
Right. I was engaged at one point, but I feel like you're engaged because the goal is marriage, and at 23, marriage is not a realistic goal. I'm not capable. I don't think I'm capable of being a good wife to someone right now, and I think it's only fair to.
You're a kid. You have
Correct.
other interests. You're a kid. You're allowed to be selfish with your life.
And irresponsible and immature.
No, you're not irresponsible or immature. No. Look at me. I waited till I was 62.
Look at you.
They said the decision was mutual, but for the first time since she was an adult, Megan was now single. Rumors about her love life began swirling, and the media circuit about the second Transformers movie kicked off at full speed ahead. This would be the year Megan would finally attain her first titular role with the cult classic release of Jennifer's Body. Now, this movie is very fondly remembered, but when it was initially released, barely anyone went to the theater to go see it. It grossed just under $32 million worldwide, and with a $16 million budget, this was widely considered to be lackluster, especially for industry standards on a movie with worldwide distribution. According to Megan, in recent years, the movie never even stood a chance. She since said due to her heightened symbol status at the time, the movie's marketing was centered solely on how hot the character of Jennifer was, not its storyline and not that it was a horror movie. However, this movie gave Megan the chance to go on a press tour, and throughout 2009, Megan gave a series of attention-grabbing interviews that, depends on who you ask, were either refreshingly candid for a celebrity or outrageously offensive.
So, Megan, I believe you are Jennifer's body.
Yeah. Just the body part. We hired someone else to do the face acting.
And what is your character?
She's the captain of the flag team in a really small town. She gets improperly sacrificed by this group of guys that are in a band, Adam Brody's band. And they basically are performing a ritual to Satan in order to try to get a record deal. And so they sacrifice her thinking she's a virgin, but she's not. She's not even a backdoor virgin. And so what happens when you do a sacrifice and it's not the proper way is the victim becomes taken over by a demon. And then in order to live in my state of undead, I have to feast on flesh. And so I start eating the boys in my high school. Can I tell you something?
Yes, go right ahead.
I've had 3 crushes my whole life. Jon Stewart, Conan O'Brien, and you.
Oh.
And I just want to tell you. A few hours of zombie makeup. Wasn't necessarily hard, it was just so bizarre because I'm so used to being glamorized on a Michael Bay set to the point where you don't even feel beautiful anymore because you're so you're like a mannequin.
So everyone thinks you're perfect, the ideal woman. What is one thing you'd actually change about yourself?
There are so many things that I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who was good. I would call her.
What is your obsession of the year?
Zac Efron is my obsession.
He's here? What you don't know is that Zac Efron and I are the same person. He just puts on his wig and a dress, and it's me, and you don't know that, and it's the greatest ruse of all time.
Shia LaBeouf was here. We asked him about working with you.
Yeah.
Phenomenally gorgeous and like kissing a unicorn. What do you think that means?
I think he was trying to say that he thinks I'm special. I think.
Right, okay. I'd go with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I remind you of a unicorn also? What about a woodland nymph fairy?
But it was Megan's interview in a September 2009 issue of Esquire magazine that would haunt her career to this very day. In the interview, Megan blasted the Transformers director Michael Bay, saying, quote, Michael wants to create this insane, infamous madman reputation. He wants to be like, and I'm not even gonna say this word, but it is a very infamous dictator's name, on his sets. And he's a nightmare to work for, saying she never worked with him for the acting experience. Instead of real acting directions, he often just told her to, quote, look sexy, end quote. Megan was really saying the quiet part out loud here, going as far as to say she didn't feel like she was hired for her acting, but rather just to look pretty. She tempered that a little bit by saying Michael was awkward and vulnerable off set, but the damage was done.
I want to know the bottom line why they do these things. What bottom line? They get it in the press and they get coverage on it, and the Megan Fox dress. It was always about the Megan Fox dress. What is she wearing? All right, this woman that I cast in my office from nothing. The world is now obsessed with what Megan Fox is wearing.
Comparing your boss to that specific dictator is a big no-no, especially on a public forum in Hollywood. The comment set off a firestorm. Hollywood power player Steven Spielberg, an executive producer of Transformers, was reportedly so offended that he immediately told Michael Bay to, quote, fire her right now from the final movie. Sure, Megan had faced the usual backlash of being a gorgeous woman who dressed provocatively in Hollywood, but this was the beginning of the Megan Fox hate train with Michael Bay and Steven Spielberg as the conductor. Michael Bay told the New York Times in response, quote, well, that's Megan Fox for you. She says some very ridiculous things because she's 23 years old and she still has a lot of growing to do. You roll your eyes when you see statements like that and think, okay, Megan, you can do whatever you want. I got it. But I 100% disagree with her. Nobody in the world knew about Megan Fox until I found her and put her in Transformers. I'd like to think that I've had some luck in building actors' careers with my films. I wasn't hurt because I know that's just Megan. Megan loves to get a response, and she does it in kind of the wrong way. I'm sorry, Megan. I'm sorry I made you work 12 hours. I'm sorry that I'm making you show up on time. Movies are not always warm and fuzzy, end quote. This may have been all that Michael had to say directly to Megan, but he also felt the need to rally multiple members of the Transformers crew together to write an open letter to her. And the most shocking part, the letter would be officially hosted on Michael Bay's official website, many taking this as a direct call out against Megan by director Michael Bay. And while I'm reading this, I just want you to think about what Megan Fox's criticism of Michael Bay even was. That she felt like she was only cast for her looks, and just how this comes off as a group of people attempting to bash Megan Fox. The article started with, quote, this is an open letter to all Michael Bay fans. We are 3 crew members that have worked with Michael for the past 10 years. Last week, we read the terrible article with inflammatory, truly trashing quotes by Miss Fox about Michael Bay. This letter is to set a few things straight. Yes, Megan has great eyes, a tight stomach we spray with glycerin, and an awful, silly Marilyn Monroe tattoo plastered on her arm that we cover up to keep the moms happy. Michael found this shy, inexperienced girl, plucked her out of total obscurity, thus giving her the biggest shot of any young actress's life. He told everyone around to just trust him on his choice. He granted her the starring role in Transformers, a franchise that forever changed her life. She became one of the most Googled and ogled women on earth. She was famous. She was the next Angelina Jolie. Hooray. Wait a minute, 2 of us worked with Angelina. Second thought, she's no Angelina. You see, Angelina is a professional. We know this quite intimately because we've had the tedious experience of working with the dumb as a rock Megan Fox on both Transformers movies. We've spent a total of 12 months on set making these 2 movies. We are in different departments. We can't give our names because sadly doing so in Hollywood could lead to being banished from future Paramount work. One of us touches Megan's panties. The other has the often shitty job of pulling Miss Sourpants out of her trailer, while another is near the Panaflex camera that helps memorialize the Valley Girl on film. Megan has the press fooled. When we read those magazines, we wished we worked with that woman. Megan knows how to work her smile for the press. Those writers should try being on set for 2 movies. Sadly, she never smiles. The cast, crew, and director make Transformers a really fun and energetic set. We've traveled around the world together, so we have never understood why Megan was always such the grump of the set. When facing the press, Megan is the queen of talking trailer trash and posing like a star. And yes, we've had the unbearable time of watching her try to act on set. And yes, it's very cringe. So maybe being a porn star in the future might be a good career option. But makeup, beware. She has a paragraph tattooed on her backside, probably due to her rotten childhood. Easily another 45 minutes in the chair. Wow. So when the 3 of us caught wind of Miss Fox pontificating yet again in some publication like she always has something interesting to say, blabbing her trash mouth about a director whom we 3 have grown to really like, she compared working with Michael to working with... We actually don't think she knows who is, by the way, but we wondered how she doesn't realize what a disgusting, fully uneducated comment this was. Well, here, let's get some facts straight. Say what you want about Michael. Yes, at times he can be hard, but he's also fun, and he challenges everyone for a reason. He simply wants people to bring their A game. He comes very prepared, knows exactly what he wants, involves the crew, and expects everyone to follow through with his or her best. And that includes the actors. He's one of the hardest working directors out there. He gets the best from his crews, many of whom have worked with him for 15 years. And yes, he's loyal. One of the few directors we've encountered who lowered his fee by millions to keep Transformers in the United States and California, so he could work with his own crew. Megan says that Transformers was an unsafe set. Come on, Megan, we know it's a little bit more strenuous than the playground at the trailer park, but you don't insult one of the very best stunt and physical effects teams in the business. Not one person got hurt. And who is the real Megan Fox? She is very different than the Academy nominee and winning actors we've all worked around. She's as about ungracious a person as you can ever fathom. She shows little interest in the crew members around her. We work to make her look good in every way, but she's absolutely never appreciative of anyone's hard work. Never a thank you. All the crew members have stopped saying hi to Miss Princess because she never says hello back. It gets tiring. Many think she really just hates the process of being an actress. Megan has been late to the sets many times. She goes through the motions that make her exude this sense of misery. We've heard the ADs ripped over the radio that Megan won't walk from her trailer until John Turturro walks first. John's done 75 movies and she's made 2. Never expect Megan to attend any of the 15 or so crew parties like all the other actors have. And then there's the classless night she blew off the Royal Prince of Jordan, who made a special dinner for all the actors. She doesn't know that one of the Grip's daughters wanted to visit their daddy's work to meet Megan, but he wouldn't let them come because he told them, quote, she's not nice. The press certainly doesn't know her most famous line. On our first day in Egypt, the Egyptian government wouldn't let us shoot because of a permit problem. As the actors got ready in makeup at the Four Seasons Hotel, Michael tried to make the best of it. He wanted to take the cast and crew on a private tour of the famous Giza pyramids. God hold us witness, Megan said, quote, I can't believe Michael is forcing us to go to the pyramids, end quote. I guess this is the guy she is referring to. So this is the Megan Fox you don't get to see. Maybe she will learn, but we figure if she can sling insults, then she can take them too. Megan really is a thankless, classless, graceless, and shall we say unfriendly. It's sad how fame can twist people, and even sadder that young girls look up to her. If only they knew who they're really looking up to. But fame is fleeting. We've been behind the scenes, seen him come and go. Hopefully Michael will have Megatron squish her character in the first 10 minutes of Transformers 3. We can tell you that will make the crew happy. Signed, the loyal Transformers crew. The crew's letter was immediately removed from his website, replaced with a letter from Michael saying, quote, I don't condone the crew letter to Megan, and I don't condone Megan's outlandish quotes, but her crazy quips are part of her crazy charm. The fact of the matter, I still love working with her, and I know we still get along. I even expect more crazy quotes from her on Transformers 3. Signed, Michael.
Recently, you had this whole deal with your director, Michael Bay, on Transformers, and there was somebody on the blog, I never know, it could be written by Michael, from my short knowledge of him. I don't know, so I don't want to get sued. But it just said that because you said sometimes he could be difficult to work with, some crew members said, well, so could you.
And your first instinct is to say that you think it was written by Michael?
My first instinct is to say that, yes.
That's interesting.
It's just,
what was the original website
he'll
that it
come
was
after
posted
me,
on?
but it won't really matter.
Where was it originally, the page? Do you remember?
I saw it on the Huffington Post.
Oh, okay, because I think it originated on Michael Bay's website.
Right, okay. Well then, my goodness, could I be correct? And would he hate me even more?
Anyway, having a heart attack. I hear her digging in her purse for a BlackBerry hysterically.
I know. It's a terrible thing that this would happen. But how do you react when that happens? Do you want to then immediately say, no, where did this come from? This is not my experience on that set?
Sure. I mean, I think when anything comes out about you that you disagree with, that you think is not true, you feel the urge that you want to, like I said, defend yourself. You want to jump on your Twitter page or jump on your Facebook and like.
But you don't
post
have
messages.
any of those to
I don't
jump
have
on,
an
Megan.
outlet.
You've
I can't
got no
do it.
outlet. You only have here. This is it. This is your moment.
It's not, you know, it isn't a comfortable, fun thing, but I know that experience was not that way with my crew. I loved my crew, and I had two great experiences making the Transformer movies. And it was an anonymous letter. It could be anyone. It could be somebody that works at Cracker Barrel in Florida. Like, who knows who it is? But it's not true. My crew knows it's not true, and my producers know it's not true. And you know, it's unfortunate that it would change public opinion. That, of course, hurts my feelings. I don't ever want people to think I'm difficult to work with or that I'm a bitch, because I try to go out of my way to make people feel comfortable. I've worked with people who have been difficult but have been male, and there's never a complaint made about them, or there's never an issue made about them. And then I have friends who are who are actresses who, if they go to work one day and they show up on set and they don't have a smile on their face, then they're tagged a bitch, and that is really unfortunate. But there's nothing, I can't single-handedly change that process. I'm trying.
But here's the deal. While I was editing this video, I came across a second, lesser-known letter from a fourth member of the Transformers crew. Only this time, it was a production assistant who used his real name. The letter reads, quote, "First of all, I would like people to know, for those who are interested, the reason why I'm writing this letter is to clear my name in any of this Miss Fox bashing. As someone pointed out in one of the responses, you could narrow down the list of potential writers of the letter by looking on IMDb. I have received a few phone calls from people who have read the letter, and they know that I have worked closely with the actors and actresses on the film, so I felt I should at least clear my name. My name is Anthony Steinhardt, and I have worked on both Transformers movies and have had the pleasure of working with Miss Fox. I read the letter by the 3 unnamed crew people and was blown away by their description of Miss Fox, especially since I'm the one usually getting Miss Fox at her trailer. I have personally never been, nor ever witnessed, Miss Fox being rude or inconsiderate of people's feelings or the work to be done. Everyone is entitled to their good days and bad. Contrary to popular belief, she is like us, human, and has both good and bad days as well. Working on the Transformers movies can be intense at times, and sometimes intense situations cause intense moments. Some of the examples the 3 unnamed writers gave as evidence of Miss Fox and her horrible attitude are so ridiculous. It's unfortunate the grip didn't want to bring his daughter to set because Megan Fox wasn't nice, and not the fact that we had to close to set. No visitors unless approved by the UPM, Unit Production Manager. This is what the call sheets have always said. By the way, Miss Fox wished my 12-year-old brother a happy birthday over the phone while we were shooting in New Mexico. Not so heartless. It's also unfortunate that she didn't attend any of the quote 15 parties, but I clearly remember her hanging out in New Mexico with some of the crew and watching her get hounded by passersby as she walked through the hotel lobby, and being nothing but gracious to her fans. Also, isn't it refreshing to hear that she doesn't need to be a part of the party machine that sometimes swallows people whole, only to spit them out on the front page of every magazine? And incidentally, if these crew members were at this rap party, I only saw 2 cast members there. Granted, I wasn't there the whole night, but I was there long enough to know that the others probably weren't going to show. I also remember walking with her through the hordes of people lined up while we shot at Princeton, and she signed autograph after autograph. She signed many publicity photos, magazines, pieces of white paper for crew members and their families. Now, I know that isn't the same as curing a disease, but if we're gonna take anything an actor or actress says or does too personally, then I fear we have far greater problems on our hands. Unfortunately, I don't always keep up with or hang on to quotes and or quips actresses say, so I wasn't familiar with the incident that incited that tasteless letter. But nonetheless, leave the war of words to those involved. No need to drag her name through the mud and at the same time unknowingly bring others down. End quote. Anthony was risking his job and any future in Hollywood, all just to clear Megan's name. It felt like a truly honest and noble gesture from someone who could have easily benefited from her downfall, but he knew the truth. It seemed as though the Hollywood machine was doing anything they could to twist the story to be in Michael Bay's favor, but this would be far from the reality. As the second Transformers movie released, it grossed nearly $800 million. But to pile on to the public outrage against Megan, critics ripped her performance to shreds, even earning her an honorary Razzie Award for Worst Actress. But the real punishment for Megan wasn't the critics or that crew letter. It was what happened next. While the public was arguing about whether Megan Fox had gone too far with her comments about Michael, something much more significant was happening quietly behind the scenes in Hollywood, and would be detrimental to Megan's new and blossoming career. When casting began for the third film in the Transformers franchise, Megan Fox was suddenly no longer involved. The official explanation given to the press was that director Michael Bay and the studio wanted to take the story in a new direction.
I wrote the script all the way up until we started shooting for the Michaela Baines character, with the assumption that Megan Fox was going to play that part again. She was in rehearsals a few weeks before we started shooting. And then for one reason or another, it just became clear that it wasn't going to work out.
I had not seen Megan about 8 months or so since Transformers 2. And when I saw her, she just didn't look like Michaela. It was just, I guess Hollywood sometimes has a way of casting a spell on women that they have to change their look, their appearance, I guess, to satisfy something. I'm not sure. But Megan's a stunningly beautiful woman, and we decided to go our own ways.
I guess we were all hoping that the family didn't break up, but it did. And we just kind of had to pick up the pieces and keep going,
It was difficult because we were a week away from shooting, and then we were a week into shooting. And we kept moving the Michaela stuff later and later.
We decided basically right away that we weren't going to throw out the rest of the plot of the movie and come up with a new plot that involved a new female love interest for Sam, but that we would maintain the idea that he was going to experience this adventure with a girlfriend character, and it would just need to be a new girlfriend.
For the two movies, the Shia and Megan relationship had progressed quite far, and it was going to progress a little bit more if Megan had been in the movie, but the truth is we got to restart in a way, and it brings a freshness and vitality that really serves the story.
Megan herself initially said that leaving the franchise was her decision, but industry insiders painted a very different picture. According to multiple reports circulating at the time, executive producer Steven Spielberg was deeply offended by Megan's comparison of Michael Bay to that certain infamous dictator. Steven reportedly told Michael Bay that Megan had to go for the third movie.
We assumed that when she wasn't invited back for the next Transformers that he had fired her. Now we know that is not what happened. Steven Spielberg, who's the executive producer of Transformers, he's the one that fired her. He read the comment and said that girl has to go.
That's it. Wow. And it wasn't Michael then.
It was not Michael. He didn't mind being called apparently Hitler, but Steven Spielberg did, and so she got the axe pretty swiftly.
Whether that exact conversation happened or not has never been officially confirmed, but the outcome was undeniable. And when the third Transformers movie, The Dark of the Moon, was announced, her character Michaela Bones had simply vanished from the storyline. Instead, the female lead role went to Victoria's Secret model Rosie Huntington Whitley, who would be cast as a brand new character.
Michael sent me a text message saying, you should really go to the audition for Transformers, and I assumed it would just be a small part in the movie, just a walk-on part.
Rosie came in. I think it was 400 or 500 women that auditioned, and there was a spark about Rosie that I really liked. She, said hello, good morning, thank you to the crew. My crew very much appreciated, so it was a breath of fresh air.
But for Megan, the optics were brutal. She had gone from being the face of a billion-dollar franchise to being publicly replaced by a model. And in Hollywood, perception is everything. The industry fallout was immediate. It was almost a bigger story than the third movie itself. The worst part, the headline was that Megan Fox was hard to work with, a label that is nearly impossible to escape as a young actress in Hollywood. Once that label's thrown around boardrooms by industry professionals, an actress's fate is often sealed. Over the next 5 years, this would be Megan's reality. Megan Fox would describe this period of time during the third Transformers movie as a, quote, psychological breakdown. During the period of time Megan Fox was supposed to be filming Transformers 3, she would get back with her ex-fiancé Brian Austin Green and have her first and second kids with him. Her career trajectory had completely changed. While her fellow actresses in her age group were snatching up massive blockbuster roles, Megan would reportedly lose multiple movie roles or just drop out of them entirely. The most interesting example of this was the 2012 phenomenon, The Hunger Games. Before Jennifer Lawrence was cast as Katniss Everdeen, the studio had quietly looked at several young actresses, Megan Fox's name circulated as a possible option. Around the time of Megan Fox's public press battle with Michael Bay, studios began searching for the lead female actress to replace Angelina Jolie in the reboot of Tomb Raider. Megan Fox was reportedly asked to audition, but unfortunately turned down the offer, as she didn't want to be typecast as an action hero any longer. She hated the audience she was being fed to. But the more Megan said no, the more the offers began drying up. One of the few major films Megan did accept during this time was the 2010 comic book adaptation of Jonah Hex. The movie starred Josh Brolin as the scarred anti-hero and Megan as a saloon worker named Layla. The film was intended to launch a gritty Western franchise for Warner Brothers. But more important for Megan, the project needed to overshadow the massive blight on her career from the year prior. So when it became one of the biggest box office bombs of the year, the press pointed the finger at Megan. The film grossed less than $10 million, which was only a fifth of its budget. On top of the marketing failure for the movie, the critics tore the entire storyline to shreds. Megan was labeled a failure, and critics began spewing Megan's biggest fear, that she was unable to carry a big movie franchise, and Transformers was only a fluke. She had lost her credibility entirely. For the next 4 years, Megan would lead into the comedic side of the movie industry, from starring as herself in The Dictator to This Is 40 and Friends with Kids. This 3-movie speedrun established Megan as a breakout in the comedy space, and more played to her interview persona as someone who's able to make herself the butt of the joke. During this time, several franchises that Megan was heavily considered for would launch massive superstars. And by 2014, it felt like Megan had transitioned into a somewhat successful career in acting, but she was largely left behind by the entertainment industry at large, especially compared to how promising her career looked in the years prior. She may have been able to get her head above water and start rebuilding her career, but there was still one major stone left unturned, and that was Michael Bay. See, in 2014, Michael Bay was tapped to produce a live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and a lot had changed politically in the 5 years since she left Transformers. For starters, the fourth wave of feminism was going strong throughout Hollywood. The era of needlessly tearing women down and sexualizing them up front was being entirely code-switched, and Megan's interviews were now going viral on social media. Thus, when Megan's name was brought up in the casting room for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Michael Bay reportedly was more than happy to invite Megan back on set. The only question was, would Megan want to work with Michael Bay, especially after all the scrutiny she'd been facing? And the Hollywood climate was entirely different from when Megan was initially ousted. If she ever wanted to work in big Hollywood movies again, it made the most sense for her to bury the hatchet with Michael Bay. After all, he was a massive director and credited with discovering her. Megan recounted the story as Michael singingly ringing her up on the phone, saying, quote, "Hey, do you want to work together again?" And Megan responding with a quick, quote, "Yeah, sure." Michael later reflected on his reconciliation with Megan, telling the world that he felt she had grown up and that the entire situation was overblown by the media to begin with. Yet Michael contributed to the backlash when he published those crew members' statements on his website. Nonetheless, Megan would go on a press tour, somewhat minimizing the extent of the backlash. After all, this was Megan Fox's first time back in theaters since 2009. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would debut to $493 million at the box office, and the second movie still produced an impressive $245 million, thus lifting the perceived curse of Megan Fox and renewing her star power back in Hollywood. But now that Megan had proved herself once again as a major leading actress, her love life began to crumble, and now it wasn't just a relationship, it was her entire family. In 2015, after 11 years together, Megan filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences with Brian Austin Green. That's why her fans were pretty shocked when she emerged the very next year, pregnant with her and Brian's third child. Rumors would fly for years, but by 2019, Megan officially dismissed her divorce filing. However, by 2020, Megan and Brian were back at square one, when Brian announced the two had officially separated for good. This didn't mean that their family had to separate. Megan has continued to co-parent with Brian and sing his praises in the press, often telling interviewers what an amazing father Brian is. While she was breaking up and getting back together with Brian Austin Green, she wanted to pivot while she was ahead, thus leading to her breakout role in the hit TV comedy New Girl, returning back to her sitcom roots. And since then, Megan has starred in countless indie movies, and even had a family with Machine Gun Kelly, and is currently making her widely anticipated comeback to social media. She's reportedly filming the sequel to Jennifer's body, so she's not leaving the spotlight anytime soon. The story of Megan Fox is a story of resilience. The entire industry that made her, the man that discovered her, they all tried to destroy her in an instant. But Megan pushed through years and years of rejection, all to become the undeniable celebrity she is today. And her relationship with MGK, well, that's a story for another video. And it's out right now on my channel, Secret Society, so check that out in the description box below. Anyway, my name's Jake, and this has been Deep Dive. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
This love is dangerous, dangerous. Got my head spinning, spinning out of control. Going everywhere, everywhere. This love is dangerous, dangerous. Now I'm sorry I had to let him go.
She goes, how did you fumble Megan Fox? I said,
Call the chicken up on me. When I was there, you never did want me. Now that I'm gone, I swear you're acting just like a girl. Yeah, like a girl. Poison